All right, Chipola Nation, we are here with Coach Greg Franklin of
How
the
you doing,
Lady
Dr.
Indians.
Craven?
I'm doing good, Greg. How you doing today?
Always
All right.
good to smell excellence.
Fantastic. All right. Coach, we're here in the Milt, and I know you've been practicing. We're going to be starting games here in November. How's the summer going?
Summer's going great. Kids are energized. They're playing hard. I mean, they're working out hard. We're having skill development, really.
Okay.
Just the only thing we're doing. We'll be more team-oriented in the fall, but right now, I mean, I can't complain about anything.
Right.
They're working extremely
Great.
hard. With
You
good
got
attitude.
everybody on the roster, or you got another spot, or what?
I got a couple spots.
Okay.
And we're still out there looking actively.
Okay.
We'll see what happens. We'll take the best player.
Okay.
Not necessarily need anything right now, but just the best player
Right.
available.
Okay, fantastic. Coach, I wanted the fans to get to know you a little better, so I'm just going to ask you a few little questions here so that you can, kind of share your philosophy of coaching and a little bit about your journey and what brought you here and what made you the person you are. First of all, I want to ask you about your assistant coaches. Who do you have with you this year?
I have Kyle Herring and Matt Creamer.
Okay.
Their role is so important on and off the court, in terms of knowing what my philosophies as far as basketball coaching. They carry that to the court, and they sell it to the kids, whether it's talking to them in the aftermath of a hard practice, which is, sometimes kids' heads are mixed up, and they come from behind and say, hey, this is why coach is doing this.
A little good cop, bad cop kind of thing,
Actually, and then off the court is making sure the kids are on task in the classroom. I break them up and I give them certain kids to monitor and stay on top of. We do that every semester, whether it's summer, fall, or winter. I give them certain kids to say, okay, make sure you're on top of. They got a test this week or a quiz or whatever it is. It works sometimes, and sometimes it don't.
So they're responsible for a little group of student
Yes.
athletes.
And that's something that I picked up along the way, whether it was from my brother or whatever.
Right, yeah. I don't know this from a personal standpoint, but I have heard that sometimes when kids move away from home for the first time and live in a dormitory situation, sometimes they have a tendency to go a little crazy.
They do, just a little bit. I'm sure when you was at Florida State, that was never a problem.
No,
but I'm just guessing.
Yeah.
I know
Little bit
the
of
discipline you
freedom.
have, right?
But
So
anyway,
that's sometimes they can get out of hand, and you got to rein it in a little bit.
Exactly.
I haven't had too many problems like that.
Good. That's good. Coach, I know your girls have been really involved in the community. I mean, we've been out at the Sunland Center before, and you've done things there. You've been in the classrooms. What do you think? What do you think the role of the Chipola student athlete is in this community?
Well, I'm going to try something different this year.
Okay.
And we've talked about it. We've got it kind of getting it rolling right now, working with Christy Mosley and kind of figuring out when's a good time to do it. We're going to do this thing called Books to Basketball.
Okay.
And it involves kids from first grade to seniors in high school. What we're going to do is we're going to actually try to get them on campus and actually have them talk with or get with a counselor, us take them through like they're going to a campus tour where they're getting recruited, and then come back our first home game and have a little clinic in the morning, and then have them play in their little grades or whatever they are, not match them up with a senior and a first grader, but have them play at halftime of each of those games, because we have our games with the boys at second and at third. So it'd be a good time to get kids involved and get them doing something, and maybe lessen the inhibitions of coming to school.
Exactly.
Some kids, nobody in their families have come to school.
So it's kind of out of their realm of possibility. So if you bring them on campus, then it's like, hey, I can do this.
And just show them what they have to do in terms of academics requirements, whether it's Division I, whether it's junior college, NAIA, whatever it is. We're going to kind of lay that out and say, hey, it's good because you got some juniors in high school just now started blossoming, being players, but they messed their grades up when they were freshmen and sophomore, and they're trying to catch up. Well, if they had the knowledge when they were a freshman, or even when they're in the fifth grade, I've got to make sure I have a good academic base to make sure I'm able to go play somewhere. So we want to try to do that. It's a little different. I don't know how it'll fly, but I think it'll be all right.
Man, that sounds exciting. I want to ask you, your players, what are the academic and kind of behavior, discipline expectations that you have for your players on and off the court?
I don't have a lot of rules.
Okay.
You start making all these rules, and then you forget I made that rule.
Right.
especially me, because I'm a little absent-minded.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Well, one thing I do tell them, I say, hey, what if your mom, what if your professor, what if I was sitting in a room with you?
Right.
Would you do that?
Yeah. Hey, I like that.
Would you do it? And
that's
that's it. It catches their mind a little bit. And I don't say, okay, you got to be in 10, 15, you got to do this.
Right, right.
You don't want to micromanage
Because they
people.
are adults.
They are,
Yeah.
and I micromanage them on the court. I need them to be loose and have fun and be energetic when they get to this point, not
Right.
drag them, because there's tests, there's quizzes, there's teachers that give a lot of homework, so that's going to drag you down a little bit.
Yeah.
And the one thing that you got right here is the release valve is basketball. But I do micromanage here, but away from the court, I always try to let them have a little bit of freedom and do the things that they want to do in their life.
Right.
Let them live.
Right.
But I do tell them, we have to sit in the front row
Exactly.
in class. You have to make your teacher realize that you really care about this class, because you know what? I care about basketball.
Right.
Coaching and recruiting and things like that. This teacher that teaches math, which I don't want to go back in a math class
me
because
neither.
I'm terrible.
Yeah.
That's what they're
That's their-
passionate.
that's their thing.
And I don't think our kids sometimes realize that whenever they're starting to take a sociology class and they're not really interested in it. But yes, this is this person's passion, so you better let them know you truly care about your grade
Right.
and care about what they're telling you.
Right.
But I think that goes back to this. It goes back to recruiting.
Uh-huh.
And the people you recruit and the people you bring to this community, because this community is so proud of Chipola.
Oh, they
and
are.
they don't want to be disappointed
No.
by having a bad, rotten egg in here.
Right, right,
So
right.
that has to be mindful of
Yeah,
recruiting.
and I teach a couple classes on campus, and I've just had some wonderful student athletes over the years, and I had 5 softball players in a class last year, and I mean it was one of the most fun classes I've ever had. They were just, you could tell that they knew that there were expectations, and they showed up at class, and they sat on the front row, and they paid attention, and they were engaged. And I've had some women's basketball players that were just the same. I mean, just trying their hardest.
Well, I've heard that Coach Hendricks runs a pretty tight ship up there.
She does run a pretty tight ship,
And I like it. I do.
Absolutely, absolutely. Coach, who are some coaches? Who are some teachers? Who are some people who have influenced you in a positive way in your life?
Obviously, growing up, my pops.
Uh huh.
He coached everything all the way up until junior
Is
high
that right?
and all that.
Uh-huh.
He'd drive around the neighborhood, go picking up kids in his old beat up truck. And
Uh-huh.
I remember vividly one time one kid, when I tell you this truck was beat up,
Uh-huh.
there was not 1 inch of that thing that wasn't dented. From when I remember getting in the truck, it was spider web windshield.
Uh-huh.
And I remember one time we turned and the kid fell out the door.
Oh,
from
my
the door.
gosh.
But there was no problems.
Right.
Nowadays it'd been a lawsuit.
Oh yeah, big problem.
But he'd go pick up every kid in
Uh-huh.
the neighborhood and bring them there, and it was discipline from day one,
Uh-huh.
basketball wise. And I think that was the separation I learned
Uh-huh.
from the floor to off the floor. That this is a serious thing. Now you can have fun with it and be
Right.
serious, but off the court, let's go have some ice cream and sit down and talk and be buddies and pals.
Right.
Obviously, my brother. I coached with him for 10 years. He's a Hall of Fame coach. He just got into the Hall of Fame this past year in JCAA. He's a big reason of a lot of my coaching philosophies. My high school coach, God bless him, he put up a lot of stuff for me and put me in my place when I really needed it.
Yeah.
He works miracles on me, making me realize you got to work in the off season. You got to be disciplined. That word discipline keeps coming up.
It does. It does.
And obviously the people I work with, Coach Jay. I mean, I could go bounce things off of Coach Jay and get some very good wisdom. Obviously, he's a very
Exactly.
good coach, and he has philosophies that I take to heart.
Right.
So, and heck, Coach Hendricks. I mean, her discipline philosophies.
Right.
Coach Foley. I'll talk to Coach Foley about basketball.
Right.
And things off the court.
Right.
So the people you're surrounded with, because this is one of the most precious, excellent places in terms of
absolutely.
athletics. So,
And I think it's interesting. I mean, I know you're a basketball guy and you've got a basketball mind and you're always working on the X's and O's, but to know that you can get stuff from coaches in other sports.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's about people, and it's about dealing with people and managing people and relationships.
that's right. We have a thing wherever we go, we want to be on Lombardi time.
Right.
And my kids are like, who is Lombardi? I said, he's one of the best football coaches
Right.
ever. But Lombardi time is not I show up for a class at 8:59.
Right.
We're going to be at 8:45 for a
Right.
9 o'clock class,
Exactly.
15 minutes early, preparing ourselves to be great.
Right.
Same thing with practice. I walk in the door and I see some of them still stressed that you're not on time.
No.
15 minutes to get yourself prepared.
Right.
So when I walk through the door, we're going 100 miles an hour.
Ready to go. Absolutely. All right, Coach. I wanted to ask you, what is something, if there was a word or phrase that your former players could use to describe you? I know, like today at the end of practice, it might be that son of a gun, but after they've had some time to think about their experiences here at Chipola, what is something that you want them to remember about you?
Well, and this kind of, I guess, really says discipline. But I know a lot of times I'm on Facebook and they'll start, my former players 25 years ago, will start putting on, get on the line and go.
Right.
And they'll say, that was the best thing you could ever do for me, Coach. Go. Yeah, and that I guess that really is a lesson for life. Get up and go.
Right.
Go. Don't sit down and rest on your laurels. Go. Be more. Be the best.
Right.
And that's what I really want them to take from it. I know I get on there and they'll start posting me, or what do they say, tagging me on things and pictures, old pictures. Said, yeah, that was right after the practice where you had us do 132 down and backs. I'm like, I don't remember it like that.
Right.
But,
Yeah.
and I'll have some kids come to practice now. You know, I still have kids from 20 years ago come in during the summer and they'll watch practice, or they're getting done with their overseas, or they'll come in and say, "Man, Coach, you are so soft now." Well, I don't see that. I don't really understand that, but I think I'm still ornery as ever. But I guess that's probably the one thing that I see a lot is that I'll have kids just tag me with the word "go" and have a person run a meme of a person running.
Right.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, yeah, been there, done it. It's over.
Yeah, that's
but
right.
It's really, truly, let's be more.
That's great.
Let's do it right. Let's do it the right way.
That is great. Well, Coach, we will be ready to go here, very shortly.
Yes.
The summer is cruising along. We're almost in the middle of July right now, and we'll be playing games. You'll be playing some preseason games probably in October, and then suiting up in early November to play right here in the Milt in front of a big, excited crowd. So we're looking forward to it, Coach, and we hope you have a great summer.
I appreciate it, man.
All right.
I look forward to seeing all you fans at the game.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.